Economist Dr. Claar says, save $100 a month if you can. And Brian, the points guy, says you can get cash back if you make the right credit card decisions. And, they may sound like, well, yeah, I wish I had $100 a month to save. I'm coming up short. But look, both of these gentlemen, when I was going through all of the things that you were saying, it really came down to asking yourself some really hard questions about prioritizing what your needs are, because we get into habits of certain behaviors and we take for granted what we need versus what we've just gotten in the habit of doing. Americans throw away 40% of our food. And that means if we decided to eat all of the food that we have, save it, freeze it, 40%, that's almost like cutting your food budget almost in half.
Yeah, it requires a lot of focus and discipline right now. And sometimes if you feel like you haven't been focused on saving money, there's never a better time than right now to take some first steps.
Yeah, Dr. Phil, on the travel front, it's key that you're flexible. So many people say, well, I go to this place on vacation every year. We've seen the hotel rates go up. Instead of just accepting that as fact, and I need to go on vacation at the same place, I recommend go somewhere where the cheap fares are. Google Flights is a free tool that almost every travel expert I know uses, google.com/flights. And it has this cool feature called the Explore map. And you can put in your home airport and then tell it, show me where the cheap fares are. And you can actually sniff out. So if you want to go to the Caribbean, you can actually look island by island where the cheap fares are for when you want to go. And I push people, go somewhere you haven't been before where the cheap fares are, save money on your flights, and then you can spend a little bit more on the things that matter once you're there. Don't just accept the fact that things are expensive. There are clever ways where you can plan fun trips, push yourself outside your comfort zone a little bit, and save a lot of money. And I'll just add too, even with road trips, I use an app called Gas Buddy that will sniff out the cheapest gas. And especially when you're crossing state lines, you can save substantially. So getting the right apps and sniffing out those deals, those savings start to add up.
Yeah, Shady, you had a question.
So I was just wondering, how many credit cards are too many?
It's a great question. Well, I'll start off with saying I have 25 credit cards and I have a near perfect credit score.
25 credit cards?
I don't recommend anyone here going out and getting 25 cards. I've done this game for a long time. But I think, having 3 solid credit cards that, you always want a couple different types in case one's not accepted. But what I implore you is start small, get a credit card, a no annual fee card, and check your credit, and you'll realize what I'm saying is true. Once you start paying it in full, your score goes up. A lot of kids in college, don't wait till you graduate to get a credit card. Get it while you're in school. And even having your parents add you as an additional card holder can increase your credit score. So start small, be responsible. If you get a card and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna go out and just go on a crazy vacation, then you add another, I know people who get 2, 3 new credit cards a year, each with 60 to 100,000 point bonuses. And all of a sudden, you're raking in enough points to travel essentially for free. That's kind of the ecosystem we see in the points world. But always start small, especially when you get new credit cards. They have what's called minimum spend requirements, where you might have to spend $4,000 within 3 months. That may not be an issue, but if you get a couple different credit cards and all of a sudden you're like, how the heck am I going to spend this? So start small, but you can have many credit cards and still have a good score.
Is there a sucker card?
A lot of times I'll say cheap is expensive. A lot of the no annual fee cards, they don't give you great rewards. So it might make sense to spend $95 for one of the more premium cards and get all the perks. So points are cool, but I implore everyone, look at the perks. They can be even more valuable.
Yeah. Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.